It was a moment like no other in history. A man, taken by a chariot of fire, carried directly into the presence of God. His name was Elijah, a prophet unlike any other, whose life was marked by miracles, confrontation, and unwavering faith. But what led to this extraordinary moment? Let's explore the incredible story of Elijah, the man chosen by God for a divine departure. Before the fiery chariot carried him to heaven, Elijah had lived a life defined by obedience to God, even when it meant standing alone. He appeared during a time when Israel had turned to false gods, led astray by King Ahab and his wife Jezebel. With fearless conviction, Elijah confronted the powers of his day, declaring that God alone was the true ruler of Israel. He prophesied a great drought as a result of Israel's idolatry, and for 3.5 years not a drop of rain fell. But even as the land withered, God sustained Elijah, first through ravens that brought him food, and then through a poor widow in Zarephath. Through Elijah's faith, God performed wonders, multiplying food, raising the dead, and demonstrating his power again and again. But the greatest test of Elijah's faith came on Mount Carmel. Facing 450 prophets of Baal, Elijah challenged them to a contest. "Let the God who answers by fire be the true God," he declared. While Baal's prophets cried out in vain, Elijah prayed a simple prayer, and fire from heaven fell, consuming the sacrifice and proving that the Lord alone is God. This moment turned the hearts of the people back to God, but it also made Elijah a target. Jezebel vowed to take his life, and the once bold prophet fled in fear. In his lowest moment, Elijah cried out to God, ready to give up. But instead of rebuking him, God met Elijah in a whisper on Mount Horeb, reminding him that he was not alone. God gave Elijah new purpose, instructing him to anoint new leaders and to prepare for the next phase of his plan. It was a moment of renewal, God's gentle assurance that his work through Elijah was not finished. As Elijah's ministry drew to a close, he knew that his time on earth was coming to an end. His faithful apprentice Elisha walked with him, determined not to leave his side. Elijah struck the Jordan River with his cloak, and the waters parted just as they had for Moses long before. And then it happened. As they walked, a chariot of fire, drawn by horses of fire, appeared from the heavens. In a whirlwind, Elijah was taken up, disappearing into the sky, while Elisha looked on in awe. Elijah's departure was as extraordinary as his life, a man of faith, carried directly into God's presence. But Elijah's story didn't end with his ascension. His mantle fell to Elisha, and his spirit continued through the prophetic ministry. Elijah became a symbol of faith and power, so much so that the prophet Malachi foretold that Elijah would return before the coming of the Messiah. Centuries later, Jesus himself identified John the Baptist as the Elijah who was to come, preparing the way for the Lord. Elijah's legacy lives on, a testimony to the power of faith and the unwavering promise of God. Elijah's story is a reminder that even in the most difficult times, God is near and his plans are beyond what we can imagine. His faithful servant was lifted from the earth in a chariot of fire, but his legacy of boldness and trust in God continues to inspire us today. Thank you for watching, and God bless you all.